Hello and welcome to the Cisco Circle of Excellence Awards powered by CNBC-TV18 and Moneycontrol, an award show that recognizes the resilient efforts of chief information officers across the globe who've made significant contributions to the acceleration of digital transformation and led their organizations to success. Today, we'll be focusing on one particular word that's really important in the world of business, and that is resilience. In simple words, resilience is the differentiator between a successful business and a struggling one. To talk more about resilience and to kick off this event, I'd like to invite Mark Phibbs, Vice President Global Marketing Insights and Analytics and APJC Marketing, Cisco, to give the opening note.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CNBC CIO Circle of Excellence Awards Grand Finale. You know, digital transformation is, of course, affecting every industry and every person in the world today. It's breaking down barriers between people, business, and things. The CIO Circle of Excellence Awards is a platform to recognize and celebrate visionary CIOs who've made really significant contributions, particularly over the last year or so, to accelerate the digital adoption and transformation of their organizations, which we all know is vitally important, even more so now during these pandemic times. The focus of this year's awards is business resilience. As we all know, the world's changed dramatically, and CIOs have felt the burden of that as much as any element of the C-suite. And so we're focused on that. We're looking at awarding 3 CIOs from each of the sub-regions of Asia Pacific to reward those CIOs. You know, this pandemic has really changed the way we all work, how we live, the role of businesses, and the needs and expectations of consumers around the world. The world is going digital, okay? 75% of companies in the US plan on accelerating their digital and technology transformation as a result of the pandemic. 88% of organizations worldwide encourage their employees to work from home because of the pandemic. And 1.2 billion children moved to hybrid learning in a matter of weeks. In fact, I'm based in Sydney, and my children as of next week will be home learning for a week, so I feel it close to home. Now, to achieve success in the digital world, CIOs needed to focus on 4 key priorities. CIOs must reimagine their applications so that those applications are compelling, they work at speed, and they deliver what the customer expects. They've got to empower their teams because people aren't right in front of them anymore. People are working remotely, and people work as agile teams, and they have to empower those people. They've got to transform their infrastructure. They've got to make sure they've got the right networking, they've got the right security, they've got the right collaboration software to facilitate that digital transformation for their organizations. And lastly, but probably most importantly, they need to secure their data because the world is under cyber threat like never before. As the world's gone digital, the cyber terrorists and cyber criminals in the world have targeted organizations and governments because they know people are vulnerable. And so those CIOs need to ensure their businesses are secure because we know the brand damage that can cause. We at Cisco are committed to help our customers connect, secure, and automate to accelerate their digital transformation. We received, for these awards, more than 150 entries across Asia Pacific and Greater China. Thank you to all the people who nominated themselves for these prestigious awards. And congratulations to all of you for the exceptional work you've been doing. Let's get right into it and kick off the start of the CIO Circle of Excellence Awards.
Thanks a lot, Mark Phibbs, for those inspiring words. Before we move ahead with the panel discussion of the jury, here's a short AV that highlights the key focus of this year's Cisco Circle of Excellence and Business Resilience.
The last several months have been a test of resilience for businesses around the globe. The pandemic brought with it unprecedented challenges, the likes of which we have never seen before. But in the midst of hardship and struggle, some businesses found new opportunities by investing in the right technologies that help them cope with changing times. And at the helm of these businesses are their CIOs. Cisco CIO Circle of Excellence, in association with CNBC and knowledge partner KPMG, recognizes these exceptional CIOs and honors their achievements in achieving business resiliency in the face of the pandemic. Our distinguished jury: Vish Iyer, Michelle Fu, Dr. Siva Subramaniam, Jens Peter Hoyer, Kokmum Hugh, and Adam Gray reviewed nominations across 5 regions: ANZ, ASEAN, Greater China, Korea, and SAARC, and chose 3 CIOs from each region to receive the Platinum, Gold, and Silver Awards. Welcome to the Cisco CIO Circle of Excellence Awards. We look forward to having you here while we award these phenomenal people for their exceptional work.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the Cisco Circle of Excellence Awards, where we are facilitating leaders who've overcome obstacles and demonstrated grit and resilience. We will be awarding 3 CIOs from each of these regions: ANZ, ASEAN, China, Korea, India, and SAARC, who've demonstrated their ability to quickly adapt and respond to business disruptions in the face of the global pandemic. It's now time to ask Shireen Bhan to moderate this panel discussion with our esteemed jury.
Businesses face disruptions often, but the transformative nature of the ongoing pandemic has exposed several shortcomings, leaving businesses open to risks. The key to mitigating any disruption is building resilience and creating an effective response and recovery plan. CIOs today not only have to revive operational efficiency, they have the added responsibility of strengthening business resilience and swiftly adapting to respond to future threats. To recognize the efforts and contributions of CIOs in achieving business resilience during this unprecedented time, Cisco, in partnership with CNBC-TV18 and Moneycontrol, recently announced the CIO Circle of Excellence Awards. Now, digital transformation, as we know, is disrupting every industry by breaking down barriers between people, businesses, and things. Transformative and cutting-edge technologies like networking, social media, mobility, cloud computing, big data, manufacturing 4.0 are making their presence felt in enterprises at exponential speed, ushering in the change that businesses need to not only survive, but also thrive. And to do that, CIOs and their teams must work in collaboration to create the environment and resources to create next generation enterprises. The CIO Circle of Excellence Awards is a platform to recognize and acknowledge visionary CIOs who've made significant contributions to the acceleration of digital transformation and have led their organizations to success. This year, the focus of the awards is business resilience. We're here to felicitate leaders who've overcome incredible obstacles by demonstrating innovation, grit, and resiliency. We will be awarding 3 CIOs from each of these regions. That's the ASEAN, China, Korea, India, and SAARC, and they have demonstrated their ability to quickly adapt and respond to business disruptions in the face of the global pandemic. Well, let me introduce our jury members: Vishwanathan Iyer, the Vice President of Architectures at Cisco; Michelle Fu, Director Enterprises Business at Cisco; Dr. Siva Subramaniam at Optus, Australia; Jens Peter Hoyer, CIO at Hitachi Johnson Controls; Kokman Chu, also with us here as part of the panel from Singapore; Adam Gray, the CIO of the Kraft Heinz company. Michelle and gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on this very special conversation as we recognize and honor the CIOs who've made a difference through a very difficult time. Vish, let me start by asking you, as I pointed out, what has been the big silver lining and the big positive surprise through the course of the last 15 months is that while there has been transformative change, there has been the adoption of technology and the use of technology. We actually didn't see any significant outage, any significant business disruption. Technology has really played a part in being able to deal with the uncertainty that the pandemic threw our way. You've been looking at nominees, you've been judging companies and CIOs on the back of what they've done to ensure resilience. What was the big standout for you?
So Sherini, as you rightly pointed out, despite significant disruption, we've seen organizations being resilient. And if you really evaluate the characteristics of a resilient organization, you can really see how they navigated the different phases of the pandemic. I think at the outset of the pandemic, it was a frantic rush to enable anyone and everyone to overnight work from home. And that was the phase where you had everyone joining in from unsecured devices, from unsecured homes, and just transacting the business that they could. And that phase, that frantic phase, was where every technologist was a doer. They had to enable their systems and processes to establish business continuity. And that was the first phase of that pandemic. And then I think we've got into what is the normalization phase, where organizations realized that they need to implement policies, they need to have technology. They also started seeing the gaps in how all the different teams in their organization, whether it's the CIO, whether it's the CISO, whether it's the application developer, how all of them are working together hand in hand. And that's when they started seeing gaps in terms of capabilities, in terms of platforms that they need. That was the second phase. And this is the phase where this is when they really started trying to see how they will reimagine their businesses in this new normal. How are they going to leverage some of the new capabilities, whether it's around artificial intelligence, whether it's around IG, IoT, data sciences, and how can they reimagine their industries? And this is happening across industries, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's government. And this is the most exciting phase of this pandemic, because organizations that are realizing that technology has become the backbone of business, but moving forward, technology needs to become a differentiator for their business. So this is the most exciting phase that we are in right now. And we are seeing this permeate every industry, every business. And that, I feel, is how we can evaluate how organizations are navigating the pandemic. And I see two phases of leaders, dreamers and doers. And I feel both of them coming together is what's realizing that vision of zero disruption and creating new imagined experiences for our customers.
Parvish, that's a great way to start the conversation. I think you've set things up perfectly. And I'll get to the phase 3, which is the phase that we're currently in, which is really about reimagining how things will look from here on, addressing what the structural shifts have been and what this new normal could potentially look like. But Michelle, I want to come to you and address the first two phases, as Vish put it, the frantic rush of being able to change things, of moving things to work from home and so on and so forth, and then the normalization process. As you evaluated the nominees, what were the key sort of challenges, the key hurdles that they had to contend with, that they had to cope with during those first two phases?
Thank you for asking. I think I have seen consistently two challenges from the organizations. So first, during the COVID-19 pandemic, how we support our employees to be able to work from anywhere and anytime. The second one is how we can support the business continuity. How do the organizations support their front sales, their customer transactions, their customer services in a flexible and a secure way? So I think that's the two key challenges I have seen across the organizations. Thank you.
Well, you're right in pointing out that business continuity is going to be crucial as we move forward, because we're not done with the pandemic yet. We're hoping that the worst is behind us, but we're not done with the crisis just yet. But Dr. Subramaniam, let me ask you, and to the point that we just heard there, from Vish on the convergence between dreamers and doers, and that really is going to be exciting, isn't it? And I mean, we've seen how technology has changed in the past decade. And now, in the wake of the crisis, what it has the potential to do from here on in terms of disrupting businesses, in terms of bringing about structural changes, structural shifts. How are you reading the changes that we're seeing happen around us today? And what has been the most exciting aspect of judging these awards?
What a loaded question you've asked me. To say the least, every response I saw was trying to build a business resiliency on the fly. That resiliency at that point of time, until COVID hit us, didn't know that such a dimension of a problem will hit us. It hit us, and like Vish said, all we dreamers suddenly turned into action heroes, because dreamers are the people who have been dreaming for this time, and they all acted. And this is dream come true. Put it in a different way. What has happened? Corporations needed to bring all their workers to work, regardless of their location. And those corporations that had remote workers in different countries, which are regulatorily controlled, they'll have to bring them online. Plus, you will have to have your continuing business. All your channels of operations must continue to operate when everybody is at home or not able to reach their point of working. So you have to have a multi-layered resiliency to be configured and implemented in a matter of days. That's what happened. And that is a huge achievement. As a technocrat, it's a great achievement. And that achievement is what I call it as, I will salute all the CIOs in this particular exercise who came up with those outcomes. They must be saluted.
Oh, absolutely. They must all, in fact, be saluted. And that's the effort and the endeavor here as part of these awards. But Adam, I want to address that issue with you. As we heard from everybody so far on the panel, and specifically Dr. Subramaniam's point that, look, every day was different. You didn't know what you were going to be hit with, and you had to make plans on the fly. You didn't really get time to do pilots and so on and so forth. So how were CIOs measuring success of what they were putting together on paper and finally executing that overnight? Take me through some of the experiences that you personally had in dealing with some of these issues as well.
Well, that's actually a very good question. The short answer is that we were measuring things on a daily and a weekly basis, and of course, no one actually had a plan for this at all. I think personally in my company, we were fortunate that we'd done a lot of work leading up to when we all went into lockdown and we all had to work remotely. We'd already done a lot of work to ensure that we had the network backbones in place to support the entire organization working remotely. And we were quite fortunate that the solutions that supported our manufacturing facilities were already pretty well strengthened as well. We had plans, for example, to move to a common and more advanced platform for video conferencing. Normally that would have taken 6 months to roll out, but we pulled together as a global organization and rolled it out in 2 weeks. Which was an ask from our board. So I think that we IT organisations, CIOs right across the board were probably reaping the rewards of a lot of hard work in the years leading up to this point. And we're fortunate that when companies actually pull together, we're probably capable of doing a lot more than we realise, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And, you're right in pointing out that you didn't have the time to be able to plan things. I mean, if you had to get a video conferencing solution out, you had to get it out overnight so that there wasn't business disruption and to ensure business continuity. But Vish, I want to come back to you and address the issue of what next now, as you talk about this phase of reimagination. I mean, we've already seen the leaps that technology has made. Product life cycles have shrunk significantly. The world is a lot closer and flatter on account of the use of technology, and digitization and its implementation is just accelerated on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. But what next now as we reimagine the way we do business in the context of the pandemic?
So Shireen, the pandemic has indeed accelerated the pivot to the cloud. If you see, even in our daily lives, we consume all of our content through our mobile along with the cloud. And businesses are realizing that the application experience is the new currency of their business. So every company is looking at the cloud and trying to figure out how will they contextualize and customize their business. And the cloud is not a destination. The cloud is not a destination to a cloud provider or another cloud provider. For every business out there, cloud is a journey to an operating model where they have self-service tools. They create very different digital experiences which are compelling for their customers. So regardless of whether you're in manufacturing, whether you're in finance, whether you're in education, whether it's healthcare, whether you're even in government, we are seeing that the rise of the self-service application. And that is the new normal. It's about how do you leverage your technologies, your capabilities to create a very different operating model, both from a business perspective as well as from a technology perspective. And how do you scale your people to reimagine those digital conversations? So that I think is the most exciting phase. And just the amount of innovation that we are seeing in the ecosystem is really scaling this entire ecosystem upwards. So technology has moved from being a backbone of business. Now technology is being reimagined to be a differentiator. And the winners of tomorrow would be the ones who can leverage technology to create experiences which have not yet been imagined. And we are beginning to see that shakeout happening where superior experiences are winning more businesses. So, and we are seeing that in different realms in different industries, Shri. So it's a very
Yes, you're right in pointing that out. Let me ask Jens exactly that point that you made there. And Jens, I want to understand from you, both within the company and the clients that you work with, how are you reimagining what technology can do? What will be the pillars, the drivers change from here on? In this phase of reimagination, what do you believe will be the key imperatives for an organization?
Yeah, Shireen, thank you very much. I think it's a great question. And frankly spoken, I think most of our digital and transformational strategies had been already lined up before the pandemic. But what the pandemic did, it served as a catalyst and accelerated this transformation. So if we talk about technologies, digital transformation, if we talk about artificial intelligence, we have accelerated those programs. And they have became a huge drive and acceleration through the pandemic. I think if you think about the potential, we always need to talk about with our stakeholders, the internal stakeholders within the company, and also, of course, our end customers. And we had intensive interactions with our internal stakeholders. What are their needs during the pandemic, be it from a business continuity point of view, from a crisis management point of view, and then, of course, with our external customers. And I think the external customers, they had of course, huge challenges in managing processes, be it back-end processes or even with their customers, the consumers. And so we came up with channel partner portals with end-to-end solutions, which actually provided great added value and ease of doing business in that area. So I think moving forward, it will probably be the same thing. I recently read a study of one of the major consulting firms, and I think artificial intelligence, both in digital transformation, will further accelerate through the pandemic.
Yes, and that is what most people are anticipating, that we will see artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on and so forth become a part of any organization's business continuity plan as well as business transformation strategy. But Kok, let me take that point across to you now. And we've seen disruptions across the board, whether it's healthcare or education or financial services. Technology is changing the way that consumers experience these businesses and engage with these businesses. What are the opportunities as well as the challenges that throws up for organizations?
Okay, basically the most important thing during this pandemic is how the organization can keep the business or operation going, sustaining, or adhere to all these restrictions. And the business also need to quickly upgrade or so-called grow their backbone to able to accommodate thousands of remote users onto this. So on these opportunities, the business also able to invest and make IT as an enablement rather than a cost center to speed up all this so-called digital transformation or cloud migration moving forwards. So what the business need at the moment, basically, they also should have a basic crisis management plan moving forwards with the right technology in place to support all these so-called future disruption.
Mm-hmm. Right. Michelle, speaking about future disruptions now, and there have been lessons learned over the last 15 months. How are those lessons being incorporated into business plans going forward, especially leveraging the use of technology? What are the priorities and the focus areas going from here where we currently are in light of the lessons learned?
I think at the heart of any resilient company, right, it's really a happy, safe, and enabled workforce. So I believe it's not just about IT transformation, and this is really also about the culture transformation and how the organizations can empower inclusive and hybrid working environment, no matter where the employees are based, what mother language they speak, whether they have family members to take care of or not. So I think that will be the key to the future success.
And that's a very important point that you raised, Dr. Subramaniam. Let me, get you to weigh in on that. One of the CEOs from the Valley who runs a cybersecurity company was talking about exactly what Michelle just alluded to. He said that in light of what we're seeing with the pandemic and work from home and so on and so forth, this is perhaps one of the world's largest social experiments at play as well. How do you see this cultural transformation that Michelle spoke of also impacting the way that organizations are structured for the future?
The cultural transformation that has happened is unreal, and this is only could have happened because of a crisis. And this cultural transformation, how it is going to crystallize the organizational structures going forward is anybody's guess. One cannot say that at this point of time. Today, the existing organization structure is rallying around to support this changed behavior, changed digital behavior of both its own employees as well as the market it serves. And if that can be handled with the existing structure, it is not a structure that is going to change anything. It is going to be the mindset that is going to change or help you in any big way. Currently, the mindset has been changed, both at the management level as well as at the end user level. So with that changed mindset, collectively, we will be going forward. And let's leave it for pundits to decide, or what do you call futurologists to decide how the new structure is going to be. But as a security person myself, I'll have to tell you one point. What you have currently got is digitization 1.0, which means you have hurriedly digitized. Very quickly, you brought what is needed. In that process, you would have gotten quite a few holes left. Typically, a threat evolves in a co-evolution pattern. Where there is a prey, there comes a predator. Here, you have exposed yourself as a big target, a big prey. Therefore, you will have cyber attacks starting. To prevent it, while you are at this stage, just take good care of your security with your incumbent people, and then as you go to digitalization 2.0 and 3.0, because you're not going to stop, this will help you big way. It's the time for you to retrospect and protect.
The time for retrospection and for putting in place solutions to ensure adequate protection in future. But Adam and Jens, I'm going to get you to comment on both those issues. If we are, in Dr. Subramaniam's words, in digitization 1.0, what do you believe digitization 2.0 or 3.0 are going to entail? Where do you believe the gaps lie, given the fact that there was this frenetic rush towards digitization to just cope with ensuring that businesses continue to operate through the course of the pandemic? Adam, I'm going to start by asking you the lessons learned and the road ahead.
So I think there's a couple of key lessons that we've learned, and that have probably been learned across quite a few companies, and that is around insights, how our business actually performs. And I know specifically in CPG, where we work, we are chronically, we underinvest in technology. And I think that our company took a decision last year as part of a broader cultural transformation to significantly increase our investment in technology, so that we can use our data that we already have, but it's in disparate sources, to gain better, more timely insights, enabling us to make higher quality decisions that really help drive our growth and will, to an extent, future-proof us against similar events in the future. I think that certainly there's been an explosion of data in recent years, and an ability to actually put that together in a meaningful way that then enables you to gain insights and make key decisions about how you operate your business, which markets you move into, which products you need to continue developing, etc. Will be key as we move into the years ahead.
Yes, an important point there coming in from Adam. And, data could be the new oil or the new water, but if you cannot make sense of it, it is really of no use or value to an organization. So Jens, my question to you then, the lessons learned from the pandemic, and more importantly, to the key risk that Dr. Subramaniam spoke of cybersecurity. And this now is one of the top risks that global leaders are factoring in as far as their business continuity plans are concerned. How are you reacting and responding to this specific threat?
Risk about cybersecurity is a bit like flying an airplane when you occur an incident, right? And if you are flying an airplane and you have an incident, you don't have the time to re-engineer the airplane. You need to act immediately, right? So the key learning of the pandemic is you need to have the tools and instruments in place to act instantly. You cannot, come up with that during the pandemic. I think security mechanisms are in place. We have to certainly revisit certain areas and enforce them. I also wanted to touch about an important point which has been not mentioned, which is data protection and data safety. In this pandemic, I think worldwide, millions of employee data, of security data have been moved to ensure security of people inside and outside the organization. And these are sensitive data, right? Especially if it comes to pharma companies or medical companies. And we need to, I think, get a whole new level of sensitivity around data protection, data privacy, and how we handle that data. I think the foundations are all there, the organizations, the technologies, but this has been leading to an unprecedented amount of data, sensitive data moving around. The organizations themselves, they also need to be more agile. I think we have learned that we have to be very fast. We have to come up with solutions in a short time. So I want to mention that business agility is a key. We have to enforce it from all angles, from the technology angle, also from the organizational angle, like agile methodologies, agile project methodology, Scrum, Kanban, Lean, portfolio management, learning platforms, and all that stuff. Because again, if you occur an incident in flight, you can't develop tools. You have to have them in place already.
Yes, the parachutes need to be there, as you point out. But Vish, I want to come back to you now and talk a little bit about the future, and especially based on the conversations that you've had during the course of being able to evaluate the nominees of these awards. What will the focus areas be in terms of technology solutions that will drive change that organizations are looking to incorporate? Where will the larger tech investments need to move to?
Shireen, I think Adam brought a fascinating data point when he spoke about insights. So if you look at every traditional business, they already have pools of information and data. And you said data is the new oil, but you need to mine it, right? We need to get first observability or visibility on that data. Then that will get converted into insights, and then you can personalize the actions. So we live in a digital first experience world, and I believe observability, powered by platforms like artificial intelligence, is going to define the winners of the future. And that's where I feel, how do you leverage all the data that's available to you? How do you make it secure? To Jens' point around all of the data protection regulations that we are beginning to see in different countries. So secure the data, leverage the data, and then most importantly, measure the experience. I feel this is going to be a very, very critical differentiating factor, is unless you're able to measure the experience and get all your teams, to Michelle's point, empower the teams, whether they are physical, whether they are virtual, whether they are hybrid, to work cohesively together. I think those are the critical areas where there is going to be an amazing amount of innovations, and the success stories of organizations who leapfrog will be defined on how they execute on these different areas in the times to come. So I see a very, very exciting time where traditional businesses will innovate and new world businesses will also innovate. And it's good. And I think the good part for us from a technology perspective is technologies will be reimagined and reused in ways we probably haven't imagined so far. And that's why it's going to be a fascinating journey in the next couple of years.
Kokka, let me get you to comment on what we just heard there from Wish in terms of what we could see as far as the future is concerned. What direction do you believe organizations are likely to take in light of what we've seen happen so far?
Okay, I guess for the past 2 years during this pandemic, most of the businesses also taking a so-called a cloud or digitization transformation. Then after this, they will focus on security or cyber security, and also all the teams will be more into digital collaboration tools. So beside this, another so-called critical concept or mindset that the organization should adopting should be agile. They should have an agile mindset and agile method in dealing with business products, and also how they bring the business going forwards.
Yes, adaptability and agility, those will have to be driving pillars of an organization's strategy for the future. But Dr. Subramaniam, there's been a lot of conversation, not just on this panel, but in general around the issue of data. And I want you to dig a little deeper into that, to the points that we just heard there from Wish as well as Jens and Adam, the need to ensure that there is greater data protection. Pre-pandemic, we saw what the EU did with the GDPR. India is still trying to put a legislation in place as far as data protection is concerned. How do you see organizations responding to the issues around data as we move forward? What will the imperatives be for the future?
The data protection, even in a country like Australia, it is very, very seriously taken, and we have got protection, data protection officers from the government, which controls most of our activities, or even directors, put it that way. So as a consequence, in the data protection has become a part of the psyche of most of the regulated industries where data protection is enforced. Like in the case of PCI DSS, all the financial institutions or anybody handling credit card, we used to follow the regulations. Now, most of the people are following. The problem is, with the advent of digitalization and excessive or rampant cloud adoption, okay, there is a newer level of risk that comes into picture, and those risks need to be addressed. We are not going to say no for anything. Everything must be done because we are, after all, technocrats, and everything what is technically possible must be done. The only thing is, do it in the spirit of the law, in the spirit of our obligations towards protecting our data. Today, all the organizations I know of is having a very solid privacy protection departments, which defined processes and defined technologies to support them. It is question of, to me, very simple. Anything can be managed and controlled provided you have an attention on them. That attention from board downwards is there. in many of the corporations which have got data privacy regulations governing them. With that governing, with any new frontiers you move on, we will be able to win over it. It's a problem in control at this point of time. When you see breaches, it do happen. We can go into it. It's a different exercise, but understand how fast we are able to resiliently come out of it. The resilience comes into the picture. That's where we are.
I'm going to end this with something that Dr. Subramaniam said, and so I'm going to start by asking. You said that CIOs have emerged as the action heroes through the course of this pandemic. So as we look ahead, which action hero do you believe that a CIO is going to have to channelize to ensure that they keep their organization safe, secure, and ready for the future?
You're asking me the question. I still didn't get the question. Apologies.
I'm saying which
Because
action
I thought you made a
hero?
statement.
Yes, this is a little bit of a joke, but anyway, I was just asking you which action hero you believe that they will need to channelize, whether it's Iron Man, Spider-Man, Batman, or what
No.
have you, or a combination
Very
of all.
simple. A simple CIO is good enough. He is an action man, not a hero like what you have seen in these movies, but he is a hero every day. He is the one who is making your company run. Okay.
Absolutely. So Vish, I'm going to give you the closing comments on this before we wrap things up. But we're going to be celebrating, recognizing the action heroes in Dr. Subramaniam's words through the course of these awards, and we look forward to having all of you back again as and when we do that. But closing comments from you before we close.
Hey, thank you, Shireen, for navigating all of us and capturing our collective intelligence. As we kicked off this session talking about resilience and adaptability, I think it's about being that learning organizations. And I think organizations that learn, that will adapt, and that will apply technology in different dimensions of their business will continue to thrive in the new normal.
Well, gentlemen and Michelle, thank you very much for joining us here to talk about the past 15 months, what they have meant for each of you individually, for your organizations, and more importantly, the lessons that we can take away to ensure that we future-proof our organizations. Thanks very much for your time, and we wish you all the very best of luck. Of course, do stay tuned to CNBC-TV18 and Moneycontrol for more on the Resilience Awards. But for now, from all of us here, goodbye and many thanks for watching.
After that insightful journey on business resilience, it's time for what we've all been waiting for. The award presentation ceremony for the Cisco Circle of Excellence, powered by CNBC-TV18 and Moneycontrol. For the past few weeks, we've received entries from several top businesses across APJC. A big thank you to KPMG for helping us shortlist entries, from which our esteemed jury picked 16 winners across 3 segments: silver, gold and platinum. Without further ado, let's introduce to you the first set of winners for the Cisco Circle of Excellence Awards in the silver category. The first Cisco Circle of Excellence in the silver category goes to Andrew Cresp, CIO Bendigo Adelaide Bank, for helping his organization implement VPN solutions and set up remote desktops for employees for secured connections. This technology has helped banks operate smoothly without experiencing cybersecurity challenges. Reduced productivity was one of the gravest challenges as the pandemic disrupted the normal functioning of businesses. Datuk Fazil Ibrahim, CIO of Tenaga Nasional Berhad, recognized this issue in its early stages and implemented the full Cisco collaboration suite that improved productivity in his organization and reduced net latency to less than 1 second. Let's give it up for the second recipient of the Cisco Circle of Excellence in the silver category, Mr. Datuk Fazil Ibrahim.
Of Tenaga Nasional Berhad, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Cisco CNBC for awarding TMB as the winner of CIO Circle of Excellence Award 2021. This success would not have been possible without the support from TMB's management and the team behind the two projects, namely WebEx Unified Communication and Dual SIM Router project. This achievement resonates well with our consistent effort towards digitalization in delivering robust infrastructure and technology capabilities, as we are able to respond immediately by provisioning TMB workforce nationwide with comprehensive work from home support right from the start, even before the pandemic began. We are thankful that as an existing user of Cisco collaboration solution, the turnaround was swift in the enablement of WebEx to facilitate the need of our workforce in having departmental unit meeting, town hall session, workshop, training, and etc., thus minimizing the impact to our business operation and productivity during this pandemic. In terms of cost savings, TMB managed to achieve quite a substantial cost saving in line with the high growth of WebEx utilization from early January 2020 until now. While for the other project, the dual SIM router, it was initiated with the intention to achieve a remote operational SCADA substation, whereby we were being challenged by the limited connectivity throughout Peninsular Malaysia. Through great collaboration efforts by Distribution Network Division and ICT Division, the adoption of this technology has created immense value for TMB thus far in terms of reducing electricity supply restoration time through improved network availability and latency. As a result, it has successfully helped TMB to achieve a world-class System Average Interruption Duration Index, or SAIDI in short, to 44.95 minutes in financial year 2020, thus elevating TMB's stature with a target to be amongst the top 10 utility provider by 2025. To conclude, the combination of both projects has proven to be effective in enhancing our business resiliency. While the COVID-19 pandemic started, the movement control order was enforced across Malaysia in March 2020. We were able to achieve the milestone set, as well as harvesting cost saving from both technologies. Moving forward, our plan is to achieve BSR project completion as forecasted, despite the restricted movement control challenges. We also plan to explore and adopt potential business process and operational integration into WebEx through the available APIs. Again, thank you very much for the great support and cooperation from all for these great awards. Thank you very much. Take care.
The insurance industry needs a lot of face-to-face interactions due to the confidential nature of documents and information involved. The pandemic posed a huge challenge for this sector as companies struggled to find innovative ways to streamline online customer services. Biswa Misra, Group CTC for AII Group, led his team to create a robust solution for this problem, which now has created a seamless ecosystem for their customers to seek insurance and request services. Let's give it up for the third recipient of the Cisco Circle of Excellence in the Silver category, Mr. Biswa Misra. With countries shutting down travel and physical business meetings becoming obsolete, online collaboration becomes pivotal. Work from home increased by 50%. However, lack of proper online collaboration solutions and bad quality of existing tools resulted in a decline in productivity with increased employee dissatisfaction. LG Display was facing similar issues and their CIO, Jin Q Lee, stepped in. He considered adapting the global top video conferencing solution and selected the product with the highest emphasis on the best video conferencing quality and interoperability. To acknowledge his resilience to achieve optimal business performance and minimizing inconveniences caused by video conference, we're excited to felicitate him with the Cisco Circle of Excellence in the Silver category.
안녕하십니까. LG디스플레이 CIO를 맡고 있는 이진규입니다. 먼저 CIO 어워드를 수상하게 되어 기쁘게 생각합니다. LG디스플레이는 한국, 중국, 베트남 지역에서 디스플레이 제품을 생산하여 미국, 유럽, 아시아 각지의 고객에게 제품과 서비스를 공급하는 글로벌 사업 체계를 운영하고 있습니다. 코로나 팬데믹 초기 비대면 업무 환경이 불가피할 것으로 예상되어 화상회의 시스템 확충을 고민하게 되었습니다. 검토 결과 화상 장비, 전송 기술, PC와 모바일과의 연동해서 탁월한 우위에 있는 시스코사 제품을 선정하였습니다. 예상보다 빨리 팬데믹이 진행되는 시기에 시스코 코리아의 적극적인 도움으로 단기간에 셋업을 완료하여 언택트 환경에서도 업무 퍼포먼스를 유지할 수 있었습니다. 이 자리를 빌어 적극적인 지원을 해주신 시스코 코리아 조범구 대표님을 비롯한 직원분들께도 감사 인사드립니다. 최근 코로나가 다시 확산되고 있는데 여러분들도 항상 건강하시고 코로나가 빨리 끝날 수 있기를 바라겠습니다. 감사합니다.
With many times stringent projects, including government ones, SR was going through a challenging time during the pandemic as the lockdown limited travel to sites. Subhash Shelke, CIO for SR, was able to carve out IT solutions that not only helped localize networks, but also helped automate mundane IT tasks in order to increase overall productivity to meet tight timelines. Let's give it up for our final recipient of the Cisco Circle of Excellence in the Silver category, Mr. Subhash Shelke. That brings us to the end of our first category of Cisco Circle of Excellence Silver. Before we move on to the Gold and Platinum categories, I would like to introduce Mr. Seth R. Freeman, Chairman and CEO, EM Capital Management, Hong Kong. Seth is presently leading new proprietary, impact-oriented private investment projects related to India, China and Vietnam, and leading domestic and global new businesses development. Let's hear it for Seth as he addresses the theme of this year's Cisco Circle of Excellence Awards, Business Resilience.
Greetings from San Francisco. I'm Seth Freeman, Managing Director of B. Riley Advisory Services, part of B. Riley Financial, a NASDAQ-listed diversified investment and financial services company with approximately 2,000 employees and 200 offices. I want to congratulate all of the Cisco CIO Circle of Excellence Award winners, and I should add our own B. Riley CIO and Technology Department. It's challenging enough for CIOs to keep up with strategy and new tools and productivity implementations, hacking, malware, ransomware, and of course, viruses. Email and computer viruses, but not the COVID-19 variety. For the past 18 months, CIOs have had to deal with brand new problems and take on the role of corporate infrastructure firefighters. Because of the responsiveness of the CIO and the resilience and flexibility of the team, our firm had a banner year despite COVID-19. When lockdown started for us and traveling restrictions put in place, the entire B. Riley team began working from home. It was quickly apparent that the number of video conferencing seats that had been more than adequate for several years needed to be massively expanded. And many of us whose roles have involved face-to-face relationships and negotiations needed to be trained on how to conduct business by video, including how to remember to click the mute button. We are a Cisco telephony customer, and our IT department had to rush out many Cisco internet phone instruments so we could have full office phone capabilities while working from home. Like many firms, we've had many upgrades to infrastructure to keep up with work at home requirements. In my specialty, time-sensitive corporate restructuring and Chapter 11 services, attending court hearings, participating in mediations, engaging in tough negotiations, and giving expert testimony. For example, required the court system CIOs to very quickly implement video hearings. Suddenly, there were new webinars on how to conduct cross-examination by video, and to remember that the camera may catch the fact you may be wearing your short pants or sweats during the hearing. My colleagues conducted the bankruptcy auction of the famous Gold's Gym business by video, with the winning buyers in Germany able to bid remotely from a jacuzzi because of the CIO. And now, with COVID-19 restrictions being lifted here in the US, and in my case in California, the concept of a hybrid model with employees permanently working from home and partly in the office is requiring CIOs to reevaluate measures taken during COVID-19 that may have been expected to be short-term, and strategize and implement long-term remote infrastructure and services to keep productivity high, while also trying to replace the interaction that used to take place in a full-time office experience, particularly for younger employees who learn a lot from others and interaction with mentors that is hard to do remotely. With all that said, it is important to remember and to be grateful and to help the hundreds of millions of less fortunate people who were already suffering before COVID-19 and who have had limited resources to cope and whose families have been most affected. Congratulations.
Coles was dealing with business challenges even before COVID struck. The devastating 2019-2020 bushfire led to the temporary closing of 18 of their stores. This inspired Close Road to Resilience, led by Rod Bloor, CIO General Manager, Infrastructure and Security, Coles Group, who implemented the Cisco WebEx platform for a total of 7,000 employees. The platform delivers calling, meetings, messaging and event services from Cisco Cloud, located in Sydney, with standby services in Tokyo. The platform also delivers the AI voice assistant and other services required for the intelligent workplace services they have deployed or are piloting. Here's the first recipient of the Gold category, Cisco Circle of Excellence, Rod Bloor, CIO General Manager, Infrastructure and Security, Coles Group. PTT Global Chemical had been facing a dramatic decline in petroleum product demand and oil price volatility during the pandemic. This ever-changing demand for petroleum products inspired PTTGC to reimagine their operating process by implementing digital factories. While the idea seems promising, implementing it in an organization of 10,000 plus employees and onboarding them is a task in itself. That's where Perat Nolsuvan pitched in with the idea of software-defined access that helped PTTGC adapt to the concept of work from home without having to compensate for the cybersecurity of their IT infrastructure. Let's hear from the winner of the Gold category, Cisco Circle of Excellence, Mr. Perat Nolsuvan.
As you may know, in PTT Global Chemical, we are dealing with petrochemical and people every day. We have 27 subsidiaries in operating countries and managing more than 10,000 employees. It is not an easy job. Ultimately, what we want is that humans do what they do the best and the machine do what they do the best. Especially in this COVID-19 pandemic crisis, we need automation more than ever to solve the complex problem, to give the secure access with the best-in-class user experience. In GC, we have taken network transformation seriously. And that's just the beginning, based on Cisco software-defined network technology. To ensure business continuity, we have rapidly scaled up the infrastructure to support all 10,000 employees to work anywhere and aim to do even more. I want to thank Cisco, CNBC for recognition. Once again, thank you.
The next recipient of the Cisco Circle of Excellence is Mr. Vidal Fernandez, CIO China Light and Power Holdings, who led the organization's digital transformation, decarbonization and decentralization to become the utility of the future. Their recent tryst with AI and big data has helped them increase their efficiency by quite a margin and help provide best-in-class solutions to reduce energy outages.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vidal Fernandez. I am the Director of Big Data and Artificial Intelligence in China Light and Power. I want to share with you the kind of projects we have done in our contribution to digitalization process. One of the projects we did and is now for almost 2 years implemented is the improvement of the operational efficiency in our transmission and distribution lines. We have saved around 150,000 minutes lost from our customers, thanks to predicting faults before it happened. What is the project about is, well, first of all, we developed a big data infrastructure to collect data from our smart meters and sensors we have installed in our cables, specifically in the low voltage cables. And thanks to that, we collect the data from these devices, data about voltage and load. Once the data is collected, we develop and deploy a machine learning and algorithms to early detect faults patterns before it happened. We did it near real time. In addition, we developed a web service and alarm system as well to report and trigger when a potential fault is identified. The model is really successful because after 2 years implemented, as mentioned before, we don't have any false positive, and all the faults have been detected for the cables we are monitoring. What is our vision about is being reliable and provide the best customer experience by reducing the minutes lost, and also to satisfy customer needs, avoiding any shortage. The solution is based in a comprehensive big data architecture and machine learning on-stream infrastructure to provide the best-in-class solution to reduce the energy outages and customer minutes lost of the energy. This is basically one of the examples in our digitalization process contribution to China Light Power. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you, my team, which has been really has been working hard in this project, setting up the infrastructure of big data and collecting the data in near real time, and after that modeling in a very complex algorithm to detect the pattern of failure before it happened. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Cisco and CNBC-TV18 for this opportunity to explain our contribution to the digitalization process at CLP Power, and Cisco is a partner of CNBC. Thank you very much.
SK Hynix's semiconductor business was already in heated competition when COVID-19 struck, leading to an immediate need of improving the manufacturing process. Since they were in the manufacturing business, the lack of active labor nudged them in towards the Data Hub project that helped them secure data analytics and visibility on infra. This move, led by Byung-Sun Kim, played a pivotal role in pursuing operational excellence, not only to prevent manufacturing disruption, but to enhance the process and product quality. Let's welcome the winner of the Cisco Circle of Excellence in the Gold category, Mr. Byung-Sun Kim.
안녕하세요. SK 하이닉스에서 IT 인프라를 담당하고 있는 김병선입니다. 금번 CIO Circle of Excellence 어워드를 수상하게 되어서 대단히 영광입니다. 제가 대표로 수상을 하지만 저희와 많은 일을 해주고 계신 자사 및 파트너사 엔지니어들, 그리고 DT에 필요한 기술을 제공해 주시는 벤더사 여러분들의 노력이 결실이라고 생각합니다. 저희는 팬데믹 상황이 장기화되면서 비대면 소통을 위한 인프라 그리고 이에 따른 일하는 방식의 변화를 주도하기 위한 플랫폼 구축에 많은 노력을 하고 있는데요. 이런 노력들이 현실이 되도록 핵심 기술들을 제공해 주시는 시스코사에도 이 자리를 빌어 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 그리고 시스코사와 함께 영광스러운 수상의 기회를 주신 주관사 CNBC에도 깊은 감사의 말씀을 전합니다. 모두 건강하십시오. 감사합니다.
When the necessary lockdowns took place due to the COVID-19 global health emergency, most banks were locked out from their own sensitive information. This needed a safe decentralization of their IT infrastructure for smooth remote operations. Anita Pai, Chief Operating Officer, Yes Bank, implemented two major tools: Cisco AnyConnect VPN and Cisco App Dynamics that were key in creating a breakthrough in accessing their internal network without any cybersecurity issues. When you're dealing with millions of loyal customers, it becomes your responsibility to ensure safe and reliable service, for which Anita Pai, Yes Bank, deserves the Cisco Circle of Excellence in the Gold category.
On behalf of Yes Bank, we are honored to receive the CIO Circle of Excellence Award. We are grateful for this recognition and thank CNBC-TV and Cisco for honoring us with such a prestigious award. These last 15 months of the pandemic have made work from home a new normal. Critical business applications, normally accessed within the bank's network, had to be securely made available to employees working remotely. We worked with Cisco and implemented the Cisco AnyConnect VPN and the Cisco App Dynamics to make available all our applications to our employees while ensuring security. As Yes Bank moves ahead in its digital offerings to its customers and partners, we look forward to partnering with stalwarts such as Cisco to make sure that we adopt the latest in technology innovations. Thanking you all once again. Stay safe.
Before we move on to the final segment of Cisco Circle of Excellence Awards in the Platinum category, let's take a look at how Cisco is helping enterprises build resilience and inclusion with their top-of-the-line innovation.
Agility, operational costs, network efficiency, security, skill gaps, and innovation. Are the demands on your business outpacing your IT resources and expertise? What is the best way to ease the concerns of these and gain a lot more time for this? Cisco Business Critical Services is your partner in building a resilient, adaptive, and transformative IT organization to help you move your business forward. Be resilient with a dedicated team of experts and Cisco's proprietary workflow management tools powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning, keeping you one step ahead. Be adaptive and bridge skill gaps with access to an expert talent pool of 10,000 Cisco certified experts, 1.7 million specialists worldwide, and an ecosystem of 62,000 trusted partners. Be transformative by aligning your technology with your vision. With analytics-driven guidance built on Cisco best practices, you achieve business outcomes faster. From reactive to proactive, we help you take the complexity and concerns out of IT, so you have more time for this. Move your business forward with Cisco Business Critical Services. Learn more today.
With thoughts of resilience, adaptability, and transformation in mind, we will now be facilitating the final set of winners in the Platinum category. Westpac Banking Corporation was in dire need of network infrastructure upgradation in their 900-plus branches across Australia. They wasted no time and got the wheels rolling for an IT infrastructure overhaul. Presently, their highly resilient solution has achieved 100% uptime across all 900 plus sites. Their application performance has increased by 29% and bandwidth has increased by 10-fold. All of this was done 3 months before the deadline and $2 million under budget. And this important breakthrough was made possible by the first recipient of our Cisco Circle of Excellence Platinum category, Mr. Wayne Bonnet. Not only businesses, but education institutions were also hit pretty badly due to the lockdown restrictions. Online classes were the next feasible option. Mohammad Isa Mohammad Dom recognized that very early on and moved the University Technical Malaysia Melaka to a fully online learning model in days. Their 13,000 students are now connected with 1,000 lecturers virtually, and 98% of the students are evaluated via online exams. He's also ventured into creating a hybrid learning model that enables open learning and micro-credential initiatives with industry partners who can tap into university resources while providing content and industry certification or recognition. He is our next winner of the Cisco Circle of Excellence Awards in the Platinum category.
My name is Muhammad Isa bin Muhammad Dom, and I'm currently the CIO of University Technical Malaysia Melaka, or UTEM. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His bounty, giving me good heart in carrying out the task entrusted to me. My utmost thanks also to the honorable panels and the organizer, Cisco, in partnering with CNBC-TV18, who have chosen me as the winner of the CIO Circle of Excellence Award 2021. As we know, the pandemic is hitting hard to all sectors and human race, especially on education. UTEM, as education institution, is no exception to the challenge, and the government of Malaysia issued various initiatives and measures to contain COVID-19 at all levels. As many of us know, teaching and learning is our core business. Hybrid learning is now seen as the future of learning model, which will allow students to access learning content anytime, anywhere, such dormitories, or even from the comfort of their own house in hometown or other countries. The pandemic allows UTEM to explore the possibility of implementing a hybrid working model into UTEM working environment. Small numbers of our staff will continue working from the office for the essential services, but most of them will have to flexibility to work from home or out of the office. Technology adoption and cultural shift will continue to be a challenge process. We need to take the positive of the new normal to become the next normal. Finally, I would like to thank again Cisco in partnering with CNBC-TV18 to give me this excellent opportunity for the award. Thank you and stay safe.
Our third recipient of the Cisco Circle of Excellence Platinum category is Mr. Louis Choi, Vice President of Digital Solutions of Thermo Fisher Scientific, who led his organization to provide the best-in-class customer services and implemented multiple key digital solutions that found them a lot of revenue, including the $500 million for eBiz Digital.
First of all, on behalf of the digital solutions team in Thermo Fisher, I'd like to extend gratitude for the recognition, and I accept this recognition based on the team's efforts and hard work. You know, Thermo Fisher is dedicated to enabling our customers to make the world healthier and cleaner and safer, and a lot of the work being done are driven by passionate people. One such example is our Smart Procurement project, which delivered a mobile solution that allows customers to order and receive products within an hour, especially for run rate or consumable products. We use data science to ensure that we're stocking and restocking appropriately, and that we're able to recommend products to customers even before they realize that they may need them. In addition to e-commerce, during the pandemic outbreak, we were able to develop a mobile application within 2 weeks that helped our field teams support our customers using a mobile solution that leveraged AR, VR capabilities, as well as building customer self-service features that allowed customers to get trained on critical instruments that would help them in the beginning stages. Transforming how we do business using digital solutions cannot be successful without the strong support from our technology partners. Cisco is a key technology partner. One example of this is how they support us in our nanoports, which is our electron microscopy training and demo facilities. I'm looking forward to continuing our successful partnership with Cisco, and I'd like to thank you for the recognition for what our team does to support our customers. And a big thank you again goes out to Cisco in partnership with CNBC-TV18. Thank you.
In the face of a pandemic, Lotte Data Communication was requested to provide an unmanned operations system and automation and data-driven DT service to Lotte affiliates, especially in the manufacturing and logistics area. Lotte Data Communication helped several companies cut on their BPO platform logistics by 65% and improved their operational efficiency by 58%. Their CEO, Jun Hyung No, had a huge role to play while Lotte Data Communications operated at phenomenal competency, which rightfully makes him our next winner of Cisco Circle of Excellence in the Platinum category.
안녕하십니까. 롯데정보통신 대표이사 노준영입니다. 먼저 시스코가 주최하고 CNBC가 후원하는 아시아 태평양 지역 최초 CIO 어워드의 수상자로 선정되어 대단히 기쁘게 생각합니다. 당사는 디지털 트랜스포메이션을 넘어 비즈니스 트랜스포메이션을 실현할 수 있도록 전사 차원의 혁신을 추진하고 있습니다. 특히 시스코의 통합적인 SD-WAN 솔루션은 당사 소프트웨어 기반 클라우드형 데이터 센터 구축에 기반이 되어 팬데믹으로 늘어난 디지털 수요에 효과적으로 대응할 수 있었습니다. 또한 디지털 협업 업무 툴 시스코 웹엑스 도입 덕분에 원격 근무 상황에서도 효율적인 의사소통 체계를 구축할 수 있었습니다. 의미 있는 상을 받게 해주신 든든한 파트너 시스코와 후원사 CNBC에 다시 한번 감사드리며 앞으로도 고객사의 DT 니즈에 선제적으로 대응하여 비즈니스 혁신을 선도해 나가도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
So we're down to the final two Platinum Cisco Circle of Excellence Awards, and both of these are coming home. When the world went into a lockdown and organizations were trying to wrap their heads around the whole work-from-home situation, there was a man for whom stakes were a little higher than others. Mrityunjay Verma, Global Head Business Operations, Tata Consultancy Services, had the mammoth task to deploy multiple secure infrastructures for not 5 or 10, but 470,000 plus associates. He and his team managed to enable close to 100% of them and provided an enterprise-like quality of service for work from home so that the delivery is seamless. Let's hear from Mrityunjay Verma, winner of the Cisco Circle of Excellency in the Platinum category.
TCS secured borderless workspaces. SWS, as we call it, is an agile, resilient and secured model, which is derived from our own existing open, agile and collaborative workspaces, OACW model. We started working on our OACW model almost 2-3 years back, even before the pandemic hit us. The TCS swift transition to remote working in the face of COVID-19 induced lockdown was facilitated by this SWS model. This model enabled remote access for employees, set up a suitable cybersecurity framework, immersive collaboration, agile data center, and all project management practices and systems needed to ensure that work allocation, monitoring, and reporting continues as normal. SWS advanced feature provides the unmatched capability to deliver solutions in a single framework. Unique connectivity solutions were implemented for providing secure borderless workspaces. The result were it helped us enable 470K plus TCS workforce on this model, seamless borderless business continuity and collaboration, virtual onboarding and engagement, increased velocity in project delivery, improved customer and employee satisfaction, and on top of it, it provided us cloud-based governance model. Partnership with Cisco really helped us in enabling and executing our overall SWS framework across the globe, keeping it secure and connected 24/7. Some of the technology which was leveraged in this model were Cisco two-factor authentication, Cisco VPN on Azure, Cisco UCS for video implementation, to name few. In the end, I would like to thank Cisco in partnership with CNBC-TV18 for this recognition and prestigious award. I am delighted as well as humbled to accept this award on behalf of my entire team, which is internal IT infrastructure team at TCS. Thank you.
Indian bank struggles were no different from any other bank during the pandemic. With the looming concern of cybersecurity and data bandwidth during work from home, Deepak Sarda had to think quickly, which he did, and led the merging of network post-amalgamation using Cisco professional services and deploying Cisco ACI. This will further enable Indian Bank to scale out as per their need without changing the network architecture in near-future network traffic optimization. Deepak Sarda is our next and final winner of the Cisco Circle of Excellence in the Platinum category.
I would like to thank jury for selecting me for this prestigious award under Platinum category. To begin with, I would like to give a small brief about my organization, Indian Bank. Indian Bank is having 6,000 plus branches across India, spanning across India, with 5,500 plus ATMs, passbook kiosks, and 9,000 BC locations who are serving rural India with online banking. To begin with, I would like to inform that Government of India has amalgamated Allahabad Bank with Indian Bank to have a perfect mix of north and south based banking entities so that it can cover entire geography of India. And it was a perfect amalgamation in all the respect because software, hardware, everything was similar at both the banks. With respect to network also, it is also, we have seen that the central location, the hardware were from Cisco at Indian Bank also and at Allahabad Bank also. So to have a integration, it was little bit easier compared to if it would have been a heterogeneous equipment. However, it is complex to have a central location integrated without the support and help of Cisco, the OEMs who are much aware about their equipments. So we have emphasized to our top management and got services of Cisco for implementation as well as the equipments directly from Cisco at our data center and at DR site also. With predominantly it was implementation of software-defined network SDN at our data center, and we are going ahead and implementing SD-WAN also in our all the branches, which will have double benefit of utilizing the availability of infrastructure within the branches to with respect to lease lines available in the branches. We have identified Cisco because of the experience what we had earlier, and Allahabad Bank was also having earlier. The purpose of selecting Cisco ACI was to ensure that it is scalable. Operationally, it is much simpler, and it should give the cost, whatever return on the cost, whatever has been invested by the bank, and it should sustain for nearly 5 to 6 years so that we could recover the amount which we have spent, considering the cost as well as the effort and the manpower which we are going to put in for the next 5 to 6 years. The major advantage what we observed was the migration from older network switches to newer ACI was very smooth, and we hardly had any problem. And our amalgamation of both the banks with respect to data merger, with respect to network merger, has happened smoothly without any concern and any complaints from any of the quarters. I would like to thank CNBC TV18 for organizing this event, and we look forward for having a better business relationship going forward in future for implementing newer technologies as what we have implemented Cisco ACI, which is from Cisco. Thank you.
Well, those were the absolute winners of Cisco Circle of Excellence. And with that, we've come to the end of an inspiring evening. But before we part ways, I'd like to take a minute and acknowledge the efforts that Cisco has made in enabling all these businesses that are able to stand tall amidst the winds of change. Cheers to Cisco and all the businesses out there working every day to make this world a better place.
Congratulations to all the winners who fought the odds to emerge victorious by accelerating digital transformation and leading their organizations to success. And thank you to everyone who participated in these awards. What a great initiative by Cisco to reward the efforts and valuable contributions of CIOs in achieving business resilience during these difficult times. Also, the jury who helped select the winners from some very competitive entries. It's been a tough year with companies facing numerous disruptions and unexpected challenges, and they worked very hard to revive operational efficiency and ensure business continuity. Thank you all for joining us at the CIO Circle of Excellence Awards. We hope to see you all next year. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye. Many thanks for watching.